Agriculture, protection of, service to, and looking after cows, and trade are the duties of a Vaisya born of his nature. Work of the character of service is the duty of a Shudra born of his nature. The duties of a Vaisya merchant born of his nature are Krishi, agriculture, Gauraksha, protection of, service to, and looking after cows, and Vanijam, trade. These are the natural duties of a Vaisya merchant. These agriculture, protection of, service to, and looking after cows, and commercial activities such as business, but clean business only. Work of the character of service is the duty of a Shudra, labourer born of his nature. These are his natural duties. Let us understand this first. Krishi means a farmer. Gauraksha, protection of, service to, and looking after cows, is a very big responsibility of a Vaisya merchant. In today's times, the importance of Gauraksha, protection of, service to, and looking after cows, is increasing so much. The lineage of cows is being attacked. Many times when I meet social workers and I hear stories from them, then I experience shock in my heart that in a country in which the incarnation of Sri Krishna served cows, in that same country today, thousands, in fact millions of cows are killed each day. If this constantly continues, then these people say that in no more than 10 to 15 years, he'll see zero cows. He'll see cows only in zoos in India. This is the state in which we're in now. And these people are so short-sighted that they look at the money they would get from exporting it now. One cannot tell what will happen in the future. The activities that the former governments were doing are written in words and books. The activities of the government is that if a cow or bull is handicapped, then it can be sent to a slaughterhouse. Therefore, these people kill normal cows and they say it's handicapped. Who would go and see how its feet have been broken and what has happened? The whole Indian culture was based on cows. Cows are necessary animals from an economic perspective, but cows also have many qualities from a spiritual perspective. I once read a poem a very long time ago, and I've written it in my diary about how selfish a person is. Hey Gai Mata, ame taru dudh piye che, ame tara chamcha na jhoda banave che, ame tara monsni nikas kare che, ame tara hat ka batan banave che, par hey Gai Mata, हमने एक बात નો અફસોસ છે કે તારી કતલ કરતી વખતે ત્યારે તમારા મોઢામાં તારી ચીસ નીકળે એ ચીસનો અમે કોઈ ઉપયોગ કરી શકતા નથી. Oh mother cow, we drink your milk, we make shoes with your skin, we export your body as meat, we make buttons with your bones, but oh mother cow, we regret one thing, that we cannot make any use of the scream that comes out of your mouth after we kill you. People take so much advantage of cows. Is the body of a cow there? In the body of a cow, there resides 33 million gods. And this is reality. If you look at an Indian cow, then its hump is the shape of a dome. Our scriptures knew the pyramid theory a long time ago. That is why our temples are built with domes. It is a characteristic of domes that if any energy comes inside it, then it amplifies and multiplies that energy manifold from echoes. If you sit underneath the dome of a temple and chant the Om, then you hear the echoes of Om, Om, Om. This is because the vibrations amplify with the dome, and this energy multiplies endlessly. Just like if you put two mirrors opposite each other, then you see an endless amount of reflections. In the same way, this energy multiplies. The vibrations of energy multiply manifold. The mummies that were put in the pyramids in ancient Egypt have not degenerated after thousands of years, despite being dead for all this period, and they have remained just the way they were. 2 or 3 days after the death, the body normally disintegrates. Yet these mummies have not disintegrated for thousands of years, firstly, because medicines were applied to them, and secondly, because this energy has been maintained. It keeps the body intact. It starts the disintegrating process of the body. This energy is in the hump of a cow. Scientists have proved that the nutrients from the grass that the cow consumes are maintained as energy in its body, and as a consequence, cow urine and cow feces are accepted as medicines in Ayurveda. I read about an event many years ago. A person died in Kasi, Banaras. His body was taken to Mani Garnika Ghat. He was a very young man. When his fire cremation ceremony was starting, a saint acknowledged in Ayurveda saw this person and asked everyone, how did this young person die? The person performing the fire cremation ceremony said, "Great saint, a snake bit him." The great saint touched him in 2 areas and saw that this person has not died. They said that the doctor has given us a certificate and that this person has died. A poisonous snake bit him and he died. The great saint said that if you want to listen to me, then do not give him his fire cremation ceremony for 30 minutes. Bring me some cow's feces. These people brought back some cow feces, and the great saint applied the cow's feces throughout the person's entire body. 30 minutes later, he applied some cow's feces throughout his body. Within 1 hour, the person began reading, slowly opening his eyes. People were surprised, and this was printed in a newspaper. People become startled about how this could happen. A medical doctor had said that an extremely poisonous snake had bitten him, and that this person was medically dead. The great saint said that I understand that when a person is bitten by a poisonous snake, then why doctors say that this person has died? In reality, this person's brain went into a coma. The whole activity of his body has come to a standstill. Therefore, it is possible that doctors will say that his heart is not running, his blood circulation was not running, and therefore he has died. But after applying cow's feces, the poison from the snake becomes sucked out, and you can make a person alive again. When I read about this event, then I thought about how many diseases could be cured by cow's feces when people are declared dead by doctors can be brought back to life. This is because how can you meet such people during such events? What I mean to say is that there is such power in cow's feces, and there is this power in cow's urine. Why has no other animal been given so much importance? There were so many other animals that were moving around in villages. There were goats, there were dogs, etc. But why have cows been regarded as important? There are so many plants, but why did the rishis say that we should put the tulsi plant, basil plant, in our courtyards? One should have shraddha, faith in the intellects of the rishis. There is splendor and radiance residing in the milk of Indian cows. Jersey cows give more milk in quantity, but Jersey cows are very angry by nature. All of this has been researched. Jersey cows are very angry by nature, and they do not let people get milk very quickly. The milk of Jersey cows are better than the milk of buffaloes, because they are in the end of the day cows. But those people who drink the milk of Jersey cows become angry by nature. On the other hand, the milk of Indian cows is of the mode of sattva, goodness. They are peaceful and idols of sweetness, and saints love cows. I have a lot of adoration and feelings for Pujya Dongraji Maharaj. Many speakers have spoken in the same places that Bapji spoke. I get a lot of bliss when I find this out. They tell me that Bapji also stayed in this room, and tears come out of my eyes that Guruji was made to stay in the same room for 7 days where Bapji also stayed. And these people show everything in their houses that Bapji used to look out this window because he wanted to get the divine vision of cows wherever he stayed. Therefore, these people would bring cows in nearby surroundings so that Pujya Dongraji Maharaj would look out the window and see cows in the morning. First, he would worship cows, then he would look at the faces of human beings. He had this much love for cows. There is a mode of sattva goodness in cows. Whenever I go to a Gaushala, cow's residence, then I like the smell of it very much. Wherever I go, be it hermitage, then people tell me that there is a Gaushala, cow's residence there. I go there first. If someone has a farmhouse, then they say that we keep cows there. Then I told them that show me your bungalow afterwards. First show me the Gaushala cow's residence. The Gaushala cow's residence are kept very clean. With God's grace, wherever I had to go, these people have made these arrangements beforehand. They keep the Gaushala cow's residence clean, but the smell of it is so nice. The shape of the horns of the mother cow are that of the Omkar. You can see the Omkar on there. When a cow makes a sound, then you'll be able to hear the echo of the Omkar. When you hear a cow make a sound, then it's as if she's chanting the Omkar. Other animals do not do this. A cow is a symbol of humanitarianism. And if I give an even deeper meaning, then cows are the symbol of the feeling of family. In the family in which service of cows is being done, oneness, mutual caring and feelings will be maintained in the family. We have considered cows as a symbol of family lineage. If there is service of cows in the family, then the children of the family will become cultured. And if you study the history of society 35 or 40 years ago, then you'll feel this. During that time, a typical family in the villages would be a joint family. There would be cows there who were looked after. There would be farmers in the family. Because of service of cows, oneness remains in the family. If a couple are not able to produce children, then there's a Santan Gopal mantra, and by performing Anustan, firm worship of this mantra, many people have attained children. Why has the word Gopal been placed with the word Santan, progeny? This is because service to cows is linked with having children. There's a clear description in the Srimad Bhagavad where Nanda Baba gives credit several times that Lalan Shri Krishna came to my house because I served cows. He said that if I were to attain children through my efforts, then this would have happened at a very young age. It was not my efforts and it was not my destiny, it was only my service of cows. All the people who came to congratulate Nanda Baba said it is because I served cows that Lalan Shri Krishna came to a house. Cows should be saved. Cow's feces is used as a fertilizer. If one uses chemical fertilizer, then after doing it for 10 to 20 years, then the fertility of the land becomes finished. The land becomes ruined. Thousands of lands abroad have been ruined by this. These people are ordering ships full of cows' feces. In India, they export cows' feces. If you read the newspapers, then you'll know that containers and containers of cows' feces are being exported, such that entire ships are being filled. Hundreds and thousands of tons of cows' feces are being exported. We export so many cows' feces, and yet we import chemical fertilizer. There is nobody in the world as stupid as us. We import expensive chemicals and we export cows' feces that we get for free, and the price is next to nothing. These people abroad understand, because they've ruined the lands because of chemical fertilizers, and cows' feces increase the lifespan of the land. They know this. Go Raksha, protection of cows, is our duty. It is a duty of each and every person. For one who is a Vaisya by nature, this is his natural karma, and he just wishes for this. The next duty of a Vaisya merchant is Varnijam, trade. This is clean business. This is also part of the nature of a Vaisya merchant. The ideal example of a Vaisya merchant is Tuladar, because his weighing skills always remains balanced. What is Vyapar business? There is only one thing in our minds, that Vyapar business is buying something for 100 rupees and selling it for 125 rupees, so we get a profit of 25 rupees. The goal of Vyapar business is to keep giving the necessary things in life that human beings or society is not getting, so that human beings can be happy in life. To earn profits is not the motive of business. The purpose of business is to supply. Nowadays, business has lost its focus. Every businessman thinks that the focus of business is to make profits. If you ask any businessman why is he doing business, and he'll say to earn money. Earning money can never be the goal of business. The goal of business is to give things to people who did not get those things. Businessmen bring things from where they are and supply them to where they are needed. This is business. This very goal has gone away. When the goal of business is only to make a profit, then you'll be able to see the consequences as what has happened to businesses today. It has now become immaterial whether the person needs that good or not. They wish to sell it anyway because they wish to make a profit. Therefore, they've created artificial needs. Do we have a need to eat French fries from McDonald's? We do not require this, but it's a business. They do not care whether you need it or not. This is not the question. They want to earn money. Therefore, through publicity and advertisements, they brainwash you by saying that until you do not eat these French fries, your life is incomplete. They push you to eat them. Then if your health gets ruined, it doesn't matter to them. If you incur a loss, then it doesn't matter to them. If they are giving you something for 100 rupees, the cost to them is 10 rupees, then it does not matter to them. And I'll use a strong word again, that crowds of stupid people gather there. They run there. This is not business, this is exploitation of people. The activity of a merchant is to think about what the person needs. They give that. This is because the purpose of life can never be just the transfer of money. That cannot be the purpose of life. Today, when you see the whole of society, then every activity that is taking place is that money goes from one person's pocket to another's, then it goes from that person's pocket to another's, and then it goes from that person's pocket to another's. This activity is constantly taking place. They have no other purpose apart from this. This is the purpose behind every activity that they're doing that give me the money. That cannot be the purpose of life. Our births have not taken place just for exchanging money, just like the game of little children called passing the buck. Each and every person in society is doing this, and that is why people have become materialistic. Wealth itself is material, and a person constantly thinks about it, it becomes a materialistic. Wealth comes late in business. One should think that I'm completing someone's need, and therefore because of this, my needs should also be fulfilled. We write Sri Sava, a quarter of wealth. If we keep 25% of the money as profits, then it does not matter. This is because you can use it for your own expenses, this and that, and to save money for you. This is Sri Sava, a quarter of the wealth. This is the attitude of keeping 1/4 and giving away 3/4. If there really be a need there of the person, then you should supply them with goods. In today's times, what has happened under the name of marketing is that people have prepared the goods and they've manipulated people in order to buy the goods. Life can run very nicely without many things. That is why if you wish to see the pollution of marketing that has come, then go to the centers of the villages and you'll realize. Many years ago, Guruji went to Chargam and Dayabai. Pandit spoke to him. He told me that 5 years ago, people from the villages of the Himalayas were so innocent that if you drop a gold chain and go there after 4 days, then they remain just the way they are. These people were this innocent, and this is our experience. Sister Nina's chain was dropped on the ground in Yamunotri, and on the next day, someone came in the morning and gave it to us saying that this was our chain. And he spoke to Guruji about this event, that the people there were so nice. But now that the more that television is coming there, and this is happening, that is beginning to come into these people's minds. These people have started becoming selfish. The people of the Himalayas have never seen these things before, and now they need bottles of cold drinks and this and that. Can someone explain to me what need is there for cold drinks in the Himalayas? But people want this and they sell it to them, and they have ruined the people there as well. The whole of society is becoming destroyed. Why? It is because Vaisya merchants have become spoilt. I wrote earlier that each and every person has all four varnas, types of people in society in them. Therefore, nobody should think that only a person who has opened a shop has to think about this. You, I, and everyone has to think about this. This is because all four of the varnas, types of people in society, live inside us. Nowadays, Vaisyas, merchants, give importance only to wealth. If a Brahmin brings wealth into his work, then he becomes a Vaisya merchant. If a Kshatriya warrior brings wealth into his work, then the Kshatriya warrior also becomes a Vaisya merchant. And if a Shudra labourer brings wealth into the work of service, then the Shudra labourer also becomes a Vaisya, a merchant. Then it says in this verse that the work of the character of service is a duty of a Shudra, labourer born of his nature. I'll also say something in this verse that there is a lot of misunderstandings about the four varnas, the types of people in society. Wrong people say that a Brahmin is very great, then a Kshatriya warrior is number 2, a Vaisya merchant is number 3, and a Shudra labourer is completely useless. All of this is wrong. This division is not hierarchical, it is horizontal. These are not people standing on different steps of stairs, these are 4 people sitting together at a dining table. These divisions have been made according to people's nature and according to people's karmas. One who knows Brahman, God, is a Brahmin. The definition of a Kshatriya warrior is Shatatrayate iti Kshatriya. Shar means a difficulty or problem, and a person that saves one from this is a Kshatriya warrior. In the Purusha Sapta, there's a very nice description of God and the Parampurush, Supreme Being, that was manifest from the Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb. Brahmanasya mukhamasi bahu rajanaskrata purutadasya jagat vaishya padaraku sudra ajagita. Out of the mouth of the Supreme Being there were born the Brahmins, from his hands were born the Kshatriyas, the warriors, from his abdomen were born the Vaisya, merchants, and from his feet were born the Shudra, labourers. Then the people who were doing all the misinterpretations and stirring before began by saying that Brahmins were kept in the head and the Shudras, labourers, were kept on the feet. They do not even look at the characteristics given to these by the rishis of the Veda, what their goals were and what they were trying to achieve through these symbols. Brahmins are from the face, and the face represents the speech. This represents Gnan, wisdom. The intellectuals in societies are all four within the face. It also represents vision, listening, and the speech, because finally the mouth means the speech. This whole division shows that giving the right message is a natural duty of Brahmins. This part of society is necessary in order to give teachings and lessons. No matter how much distant learning you begin or how much correspondence courses you begin, the naturalness and that is there in this education you get from the mouth of the Guru is greater than that found in either of these. And that is why no matter what happens, nursery classes are needed for the young child and teachers are needed for a young child. You cannot begin correspondence courses for a young child. A young child needs someone by his side. You cannot begin distant learning for the young child. The necessity of Brahmin section of society will always remain. Brahmins came out of the mouth of the Supreme Being. Then the Kshatriyas, the warriors and the kings, came from the hands of the Supreme Soul. Why? I mentioned earlier that the definition of the Kshatriya warrior is Shatatrayate iti Kshatriya. Shar means a difficulty or problem, and a person that saves one from this is a Kshatriya warrior. They save people from difficulties. Our hands always save us from difficulties, because if someone comes to let us, then we immediately raise our hands and we put them there to defend ourselves. And we can also use them to attack in return. And if a person falls from above and below, then he firstly puts his hand to the floor in order to save himself. Our hands always save us from difficulties, and that is why they are Kshatriya warriors. That is why the Kshatriya warriors came out of the hands of the Supreme Being. Hands protect us. Even if one has to surrender on the battlefield, then they surrender by raising their hands. This means that they have stopped the activity of the hands, and this shows that there is nothing in the hands. The hands protect them. If a person ties someone's hands, then they have tied the power of a Kshatriya, a warrior. Then the person will not be able to do anything. That is why it said that the Kshatriya warriors were born from the hands of the Supreme Being. The Vaisya merchants came from the abdomen of the Supreme Being, including the stomach. Everything gets gathered there, but the stomach itself cannot look after everything, and therefore it distributes to all. It sends nutrients to everywhere in the body after digesting it. If a stomach says that all the food and everything that has come is mine and I will not give it to anyone, then this will keep getting bigger and that will become the reason for its destruction. In the same way, if a Vaisya merchant only keeps gathering things, then the degradation of society takes place. If a merchant section of society only keeps gathering things and only keeps an attitude of possessiveness, then this leads to the destruction of society. That is why in the 5 truths of Jainism, Bhagwan Mahavir gave a lot of importance to aparigraha, non-possessiveness. This is because if someone's stomach becomes big, then they no longer look like a human being but a cartoon. That is why you see in cartoons that it's very necessary to have a big stomach. Only then will it look funny. People who only suck things from society and gather together look just as funny. If somebody else needs my wealth and yet it does not go to help them, then what use is that wealth? And it said, from the feet of the Supreme Being were born the Sudra, labourers. The feet keep running. That is why the work of the character of the service is. This is being active. The Sudra labourer section of society should be active. I remember a sutra where it says that Pauka Goram Petke Naram or Dimak ko Rako Tanda Fir Agar Doctor Ghar pe aaye to usko maro danda. Keep your feet warm, your stomach soft and your mind cool. If you do all of this and the doctor comes, then you hit him out with a stick. One's feet should constantly remain active and warm all the time. The Shudra labourer section of society should remain active. If you wish to create a healthy society, then the Shudra labourers section of society should remain active. Yet the Shudra labourers section of society has become oppressed. The labour force should remain active. They should remain active within the work of the character of service. Today the power of Shudra labourers has increased through labour unions and all of this, and therefore the demands have increased. But the responsibilities have not increased. As a consequence, there has been degradation. If you go abroad, then you'll see that when people work, then they carry out work sincerely. And because they work sincerely, they get sincere rewards. Why did our people go abroad and become happy? This is because they know the value of hard work and they get rewards in accordance with the hard works that they do. Therefore, they become happy in both ways. Over in India, no matter how much work we put in, we only get to set out the wages, and if you do not do anything, then when the year finishes, you'll get the increment. This is a completely stupid method. In reality, everything that has taken place under the name of our previous governments has led to the degradation of our country in the last 65 years. If a person gets a government job, then they become the government stooge, and if they do this, then they'll get a promotion, regardless of whether they're capable or not. On the other hand, if you do not do any work when you're abroad, then they'll tell you at any time that if you wait here for 3 hours in the morning but you're not working, even if you have not been working there for 10 years, they'll tell you to go home. One constantly has to prove themselves. In India, once a person has done probation for 6 months, then they're accepted and nobody can remove them. Then they don't do anything. That is why the feet of society have not remained warm. The working force has not remained warm. They began creating noise and rights, but they have not begun working. The seat should be kept warm and the stomach should be kept soft. This is both from the perspective of personal health and the perspective of social health. The stomach should be kept soft. If someone touches the stomach, then they should like it. It should feel as if they're touching the stomach and not a rock. The stomach represents the Vaisya, merchant part of society. This should also be mild, and the mind should be kept cool. But people are walking around hot-headed. If even something little happens, then they erupt. During a musical show, the person playing the tabla, Indian drum, pulls up the tabla, Indian drum, before the musical show begins. During this time, it makes a funny sound. He plays it to see if the tabla, the Indian drum, plays in rhythm with the harmonium. But when the tabla gets pulled, then immediately it begins making the sound. And as soon as the show finished, then it's unwinded again. Guruji once asked the person playing the tabla why they have to pull it out before every show and about what difference it makes when it's pulled. He asked them why people do not play it immediately when it's taken out the bag. He told Guruji that if it's constantly kept pulled, then the tabla, Indian drum, gets ruined. You have to pull it and then wind it down. When it is needed for a show, then we pull the tabla, Indian drum, then the need for it finishes and we wind it down. You also have to do this for the tabla, that is the mind. When you need it, then you should pull it, and during other times, you should wind it down. Our minds in the form of tabla are pulled 24 hours a day, and whenever we play them, they make funny noises. People should learn to wind them down. I understand that you need it sometimes, and many people say that if we do not eat it in our heads, then it will not work. And this is accepted so you can pull it, thinking that you have to give a show there. Use it, and then in the end, you should wind it down again. You should keep your mind cool. And even the doctors of today have admitted to the fact that the cooler that one's mind is, then the longer one's lifespan. The cooler that mind is, then the better that the health is, and that one should live with happiness. Some people say that the 4 varnas, divisions of society system, has been created by Brahmins, and that because Brahmins have written this, they have written everything good about themselves, have not given anything to the poor Shudra labourers. No, this is incorrect, and it's not like this. Who is called a Vaisya merchant? A Vaisya merchant is defined as Vishati iti Vaisya. Vishati means to enter. There are poetic feelings in this. When a person has been working in the farm the whole day and is covered with dirt all over, then the rishis must have seen the farmer and thought that the farmer looks as if he's come out of the ground. Therefore the definition is Vishati iti Vaisya, and the name Vaisya merchant came about. They have become involved. And Shudra labourers are defined as Shudra Dravati iti Shudra, those whose heart melts, are shaken on seeing others peoples in pain. Society may have some bodily difficulties or difficulties in running their everyday life. One whose heart gets shaken on seeing this, and one who is a person full of feelings, is a Shudra labourers. I have clarified this many times. During primitive times, men were walking around bare feet in the jungle. When a thorn gets stuck in their foot, then they would start screaming. Blood would keep coming out, and other illnesses of the foot would come, such as bruises, swelling and scars. People must have been getting so much pain. Someone might have seen this and would have got very sad. He thought, how can I get rid of this person's pain? Can it not so happen that I can save human beings from this pain? Over time they must have got leaves from the trees and the skins of animals and made footwear out of these. Therefore when human beings would walk with this footwear, then no thorns would hurt them. Slowly and slowly this art began developing, then shoes were created. Now we have the shoemakers that are the examples of Shudras, because they try to get rid of the bodily pains of society. They could not bear the pain of human beings when their feet would get hurt by thorns. During primitive times, man must not have had clothes and must have had cold during the winter or wet during the rainy seasons. Someone charitable must have seen this and thought that it would be nice if they got something from the trees to put around everywhere, or they must have used grass. Then slowly and slowly we have cotton and other clothes. A tailor is also a Shudra. They get rid of our bodily difficulties. There are no houses to live in, and people used to live in open air and then in caves or on the trees. They created the art of architects who are Shudras. Society can never leave the Shudra labourers section of society, because the majority of the wealth of society is with the Shudra labourers. You see that those who fulfill their basic necessities are the Shudra labourers. How can a person go without clothes? How can a person go without a house? One can go without the Gita. Can one not go without the Gita? It is because we have everything else that we want to read the Gita. The basic necessities of life are needed. Only then can one read the Gita. Therefore the majority of wealth in society is held by the Shudra, the labourers. Then the others come. The Shudra labourers section of society is the wealthiest section of society, and no intelligent person in society can ignore them, no intelligent person in society can insult them, and no intelligent person in society can reject them. They are of a lot of importance. Therefore the whole imagination that a lot of facilities have been given to the Brahmins and not to others is completely wrong. Rather, if you see in the last 3 verses that we have read, look at the duties, go back, look at the duties that are being shown to the Brahmins. Shamo, serenity; damas, self-control; tapa, austerities; shaucham, purity; shantir, forbearance; arjavam, uprightness; gnan, wisdom; vignan, science; astikyam, faith and religion. 9 duties have been given for Brahmins, and it's said that Brahmins should perform these karmas. How many duties have been given from Kshatriyas, warriors? Shauryam, heroism; tej, vigor; dhritir, steadiness; dakshyam, resourcefulness; yudhir cha api apalinam, not fleeing even in battle; dhanam, generosity; and ishvara bhavas, leadership. 7 duties have been given for Kshatriyas, warriors. 9 duties have been given for Brahmins, and 7 duties have been given for Kshatriyas, warriors. Only 3 duties have been given for Vaisyas, merchants: Krishi, agriculture; Gauraksha, protection of, service to and looking after cows; and Varnijam, trade. And only 1 duty has been given to Shudras, labourers: Paricharya atmakam, work of the character of service. Therefore, if so-called injustice has been done to anyone's, then it's Brahmins, because they have to look after so much. An equal amount of well-being will happen to all of them. Shri Krishna even says this in the Gita, as you'll see in the next verse. That brings us to the end of our class.